camera up here, I can tell already, and I tested this mount out already on with my with this GoPro. And when you stop, it gets really shaky, and when you take off, it gets really shaky. But when you're just cruising, it doesn't look like it shakes too badly. So the footage from here is probably going to be sporadic. It's not, you know, I'm not going to be able to use all of it because it's going to be so shaky. Like I can tell right now, it's vibrating the crap out of this camera. So probably not going to be able to use all of it. Yeah, so, cause right now when we're just cruising along, it looks fine. But also kind of want to test out to see if I'm going to use the wide angle or just the medium angle. So we've got it on medium right now. Maybe we'll before we hit any highway or something like that, we'll swap out the angle on this thing. For that though, I've got to whip out the phone because almost all the controls on this little guy are through the app, because there's no interface, there's no touch screen. There's a tiny little LCD bar. I mean, it's tiny. That's like a what do you call it? You know, it tells you how much battery life you have left. It tells you what function you're on, whether it's because it has all the same functions as my my helmet mounted cam. It's just smaller, and it doesn't take because this one here takes like 120 frames per second. It doesn't do 4K, the Session 5. I think maybe it does do 4K, but before I swapped this out and before I got another SD card, I only had 64 gigs, and 4K takes up so much memory. Now we're gonna go down this road. I know this road's been crap before, so this might be a stupid idea, but this is like the back road to go to Sacramento. We're not gonna go all the way to Sacramento this morning, but we're going to just take a little back road drive. And it had been closed earlier this year because they were doing work on it, and then there was a lot of flooding on this road. But there are no warning signs up. And again, if you can tell from one camera angle or another, this road is crap. I don't know if where you live you've got crap roads, but we have lots of crap roads here in my hometown and pretty much all over Northern California where I ride. I was super excited to get this other camera because, you know, after a while, oh yeah, this road is terrible. After a while, you know, videos get stagnant. You know, you could be talking about all kinds of stuff, but especially when you have a low subscriber base like I do, we're up to about 120, maybe just a little over that, depending on how many people have unsubscribed or how many new subscribers have come in since I've uploaded this video. But yeah, you know, gotta try to keep things fresh without spending a ton of money, because, you know, I don't plan on making a ton of money on my channel. I don't think that you really can make money until you have about 1,000 subscribers, when you can almost, not guarantee, but, you know, until your videos can consistently reach 1,000 views, that's when you start getting money for your videos. And it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. So I'm going to depend on keeping things fresh to attract new viewers, and I'm going to do that the best that I can. Now you can see we're riding along the side of the freeway. I've noticed that a lot of bikers come out on this road instead of the freeway, and you know, it's a coin toss to me, really, because, so for instance, you can't see this road probably very well. I mean, you can see it out in the distance. This is not a super nice road. They've done some work on it to make it a little bit smoother, but the highway is definitely smoother. So, you know, that's one, you know, thing you gotta weigh. Would you rather ride on a smoother road? Is that safer to you? My wife thinks that it's safer on this road, but to me, the danger of having a car coming right at you and having that risk, as opposed to the risk of the cars that are, you know, on either side of you on the highway or on the freeway, that's a kind of a coin toss to me, because, you know, people don't see you when they're riding next to you, but I mean, you get somebody coming right at you in a head-on collision, and I mean, that's the end. Gotta open up a little bit here. So yeah, we've got the railroad that's elevated over here. To me, this is kind of crazy. This is all made out of wood. We've got several trains and engines that weigh several tons riding on this thing, but it's been up. That train, elevated train track has been up for a long time. And I mean, those are like telephone pole size supports, and there's like 6 of them or 5 of them to a section, and they're all bumping up next to each other. So I mean, it's been there for years. This road floods a lot, like all the way underwater. So you can imagine how necessary those are. But again, to me, it's like, well, those things are going underwater. Is the wood going to rot because of the, being completely immersed for periods of time? I think we'll take the freeway back. So the other thing about the freeway, when you go to Sacramento from where I live, is it's the Causeway. So, right, you see this section that's raised up here. On the other side, we have the highway that's elevated. You can't really see it from here. No. But this river road's really nice. But we'll get back on the highway. So this road's kind of bumpy. Actually, that whole section there that used to be really bumpy isn't so bad. And now I'm getting into some really bad stuff right here. But we're gonna head back, and you'll see when we get on the highway, or on the freeway, the motorway, as some of my international viewers would call it. It's like every section is its own section, and it's like a wave. You'll see here. Hopefully it'll be visible on the video. People drive really fast on this section, so gotta get going. See, already it begins. There's no way that you can't see this. Me bouncing up and down, and this is something you can't help. The first time I rode this on the highway, actually, I was with my wife, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought maybe that she was lifting her butt up and down. I have no idea what was going on. So it was kind of funny. You can feel this even in your car, and to me this is really bad, because every time you hit the peak of one of these little bumps, right, you have a little bit less friction with your tires in the road. And if you got to swerve out of the way all of a sudden, or somebody stops really hard in front of you, your tires aren't going to grip like they would if you had, if you were just on a level road. It wasn't bouncing up and down like this. So anyway, that's just another one of those things to me where you're weighing the safety of riding on one of those country roads to riding on the freeway. So just checking out the camera right now, it looks like it's pretty steady here on the highway, so that's a good thing. It'll be interesting to check out the video once I get it. But again, I got my cold weather gloves on, and I'm layered underneath my jacket. Got my boots on. My boots, these are my Harley Davidson boots. I was just watching a Good Mythical Morning. I don't know if any of you all fancy that channel on YouTube. But they went into this cryotherapy place, and Link was holding up these charts of how cold are you?
What are your nipples capable of cutting on a scale of paper to glass?
But yeah, just in case any of you were wondering, my nipples are capable of cutting through. Let's say they're capable of cutting through glass, because yeah, that wind is just hitting my chest and lighten them up. Alright. I'm gonna open it up a little bit here. Right here, the speed limit actually right here is 70 miles an hour, so that's kind of nice. There's certain sections of highway, if you watch videos of previous videos, my family drove to Utah, and we do that trip once every other year, maybe sometimes once every year, and there are sections of through Nevada and some in Utah that are 80 miles an hour for the speed limit, and that's crazy. Can't imagine trying to ride my old Sportster through there. and have the speed limit be 80 miles an hour. My bike definitely was working pretty hard in 5th gear at 80 miles an hour, and I can't say that I rode my bike at 80 miles an hour very often, but I know I did at 70, and even at 70 miles an hour, the old Sportster was working pretty hard. Oh, my nose feels like it's kind of running now. Should have wore a balaclava or another layer underneath the helmet. I didn't feel like it was that cold, but I'm riding on the highway. Excuse me. Gets that nose running. So, guys, this is where I bid adieu, coming to the end of my ride. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button down there, which is the thumbs up, and if you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button. Come back and see me. I try to put videos out at least twice a week, so there's always new content for you guys, and there's a variety of videos already there on my channel for you to check out. So guys, if you're riding, be safe, and if you're not riding, consider becoming a rider. It's a lot of fun. Alright guys, this is that one guy, and I'm out.